They have pamunas. Ito, ayun green. That's what he chose first.
Hi! Hello mga kapatid, mga ka-awesome. Welcome to another episode of Daily Hours where we read, reflect, and respond to the Word of God daily. And po mga kapatid at mga ka-awesome, yes, we do this daily from Mondays to Saturdays, except on Sundays because on Sundays we have the Christian Dialogue. At ngayon po mga kapatid, we are glad and happy na bago po ang ating series, The Book of Job. We just started this yesterday. At ayan nga po mga kapatid, no, ginagawa natin to daily because this is our daily bread for our spiritual bodies. Kaya naman, patuloy pa natin itong ginagawa. And Jesus said that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Ayan. So comment na po kayo dyan mga kapatid at mga ka-awesome. And tonight, I am welcomed or I am accompanied by my co-host. Let us welcome Aldwin. Ayan, Aldwin in the house. Okay, brother Aldwin, kumusta?
Hello po. Happy Thursday everyone. Good evening to all of you guys. So, kamusta ako? I'm good, no? Actually, parang another achievement for me that after the event nung last Saturday na-overcome ko yung isa sa mga weaknesses ko, which is the public speaking. And not bad for that because I am now confident na to improve pa po yung self ko. How about you, Kuya Jesse? Kamusta po?
Glad to hear that, bro. Okay naman ako. Andito ngayon. Okay naman. Dito na nagpapahinga. Ayan. All right. So, thank God for a good rest and to chill. Ayan. All right. And thank you, bro. Thank you din sa pagsama for tonight's episode. Mga ka-awesome, kumusta naman kayo dyan? Ayan, basahin ko na rin yung mga greetings ng mga ka-awesome natin na andito na. Nandito si Alvin. Okay, Alvin, good evening, ka-awesome. Good evening sa iyo, brother. Si Ate Kot, andito na rin. Awesome Thursday evening. Awesome Thursday evening po. And Ate Mayan, hi, good evening, awesome believers. Hello po, Ate Mayan. Enjoy ba dyan, Kuya Jesse? Opo, enjoy naman po. Nag-enjoy po si O'Neil. Alright. Okay. Di ba, O'Neil? Saan si O'Neil? Ayan. Okay. Okay, alright po. So, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat ulit. So, bale, sabi ko nga po, we are continuing our series on the Book of Job. And we just started that yesterday. So, bago natin basahin ang ating text for tonight, magkaroon lang tayo ng mga bilisang recap kung ano pong nangyari. So, basically last night or last episode was an introduction to Job and his family. Okay, so pinanood sa atin ni Brother Josh yung ginawa ng Bible Project about it and basically an overview of what Job is all about. And what I remember there is Job was tested kasi sabi ni Satan na loyal lang naman or faithful si Job sa'yo dahil binibigay mo sa kanya ang lahat-lahat. That's why he was tested. And throughout the test, nagkaroon din ng mga mahahabang conversation between Job, his three friends, and between Job and God to deal with different kind of issues na mapag-uusapan natin as we go on or go through the episodes. Ang ganda ng mga lessons, and one of the lessons na I think everyone or almost everybody knows about suffering, pero hindi lang yun daw. Hindi lang yun yung ating pag-usapan. Kaya abangan po mga kapatid ang mga susunod pang episodes. Pero dito na-introduce tayo kay Job and his family at nakita natin na kung gaano siya kayaman. Okay? Ka-blessed. How blessed Job is and how abundant his properties were. Tapos okay din yung pamilyado din siya, di ba? So kumbaga, naka-Job na ang lahat. Naka-Job na ang lahat. Kaya naman, ngayong episode na ito, anong mangyari? Ayan. Siya ay, anong Tagalog ng test? Siya ay subukan ni Satanas. Okay, Satan's first test of Job. Ayan. Ito po ang ating babasahin. So, mga kapatid, kung handa lang po kayo, comment na kayo ng awesome para masimulan na rin natin ang ating pagbabasa and pag-reflect dito sa reading natin for tonight. So, this is the rest of chapter 1 of Job. Okay, but bago yan, syempre, basahin ko lang yung mga comments na hindi ko pa nabasa. Kuya Kaloy, good evening. Good evening po, Kuya Kaloy, and si Brother Jerry. Kuya Jerry, andito na rin po siya. A gracious and blessed evening. Gracious and blessed evening po. Ayan, thank you for the laughs and hearts, Ate May. And dito po si O'Neil, oh. Ayan, oh. Pinakita talaga. Yan, siya po yung isang co-host kung wala akong masabi, tatawagin ko na lang siya sabihin. And awesome, okay. Nag-awesome comments na po sila. Thank you po, Ate May and Kuya Kaloy. So, Lord, okay, I think everybody's ready. I'll be asking Aldwin to read with us the text for tonight. Okay. So, Brother Aldwin, are you ready?
Yes po, I'm ready na po.
Sige, so I think we can read the rest of it. Verses 6 to 22. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6, one day the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord asked Satan, "Where have you come from?" "From roaming through the earth," Satan answered him, "and walking around on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? No one else on earth is like him, a man of perfect integrity who fears God and turns away from evil." Satan answered the Lord, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Haven't you placed a hedge around him, his household, and everything he owns? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he owns, and he will surely curse you to your face." "Very well," the Lord told Satan. "Everything he owns is in your power. However, do not lay a hand on Job himself." So Satan left the Lord's presence. One day when Job's sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and reported, "While the oxen were plowing and the donkeys grazing nearby, the Sabaeans swooped down and took them away. They struck down the servants with the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." He was still speaking when another messenger came and reported, "God's fire fell from heaven. It burned the sheep and the servants and devoured them, and I alone have escaped to tell you." That messenger was still speaking when yet another came and reported, "The Chaldeans formed 3 bands, made a raid on the camels, and took them away. They struck down the servants with the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." He was still speaking when another messenger came and reported, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. Suddenly, a powerful wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on the young people so that they died, and I alone have escaped to tell you." Then Job stood up, tore his robe, and shaved his head. He fell to the ground and worshipped, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will live this life. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Throughout all this, Job did not sin or blame God for anything.
Wow, power. Thank you, Brother Aldwin, for the reading. At ayan na nga po mga kawatid, ang second episode natin. And as I've mentioned, ito yun rin yung isang gislong story, kumbaga, na sabi nga ni Satan, naku, si Job, faithful lang yan dahil nasa kanya na ang lahat. At nakita nga natin kahapon when he was introduced and his family, is really well off. Okay? Mayaman siya. He has a family, good family. He has basically everything that he needs. At ngayon, ang nangyari dito, sinubukan nga siya ni Satan. Nagkaroon ng conversation between God and Satan, and they said, or Satan challenged God na kung mawawala yung mga yan, I know that Job will curse you. And so, what happened was, ayun nga, nagkaroon ng tests at tatlo ang nakita ko dito, tatlong beses na matinding na pangyayari ang naganap. Okay, and these things were not good news. All of these were bad news, parang worse pa eh, worse than bad news, mas matindi sa masamang balita kasi grabe yung destruction na nangyari. At hindi lang isa, hindi lang dalawa, tatlong beses po yan na nangyari. But at the end of it all, dito sa ending natin, nakita natin na yung napakaganda ng response ni Job, grabe. That rin nung pinanganak ako. So, I know that kung mamatay man ako or mawala man lahat, it's okay. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away, sabi niya rin. He is acknowledging that. And he did not sin or blame God for anything. Wow, di ba? Ayan. So, pag-usapan po natin ito, no? Maraming pwedeng pag-usapan dito, discussion. So, I encourage you mga kapatid at mga ka-awesome, if you have insights and clarifications or even questions here, tanong lang po kayo and we can talk about it and have a good discussion regarding it. So, balik po tayo dun sa taas and I'll be asking Brother Aldwin first for his initial insights. So, Brother Aldwin, anong masasabi mo dito sa initial insights mo dito sa ating nabasa? Sa iyong nabasa. Go ahead.
Yun bro, no. So for the insights that I that I observed, no, yung mga na-observe ko dito is actually two parts. So unahin ko na lang muna siguro or hatiin ko na lang siya. So for the initial insights, no, we saw here that God addressed Satan and starts making whether Satan has acknowledged Job's righteousness, no, that the Lord concurs with the story told in the first 5 verses of the book from the last night discussion, no, that Job according to God is blameless, upright, fears God and turns away from wrongdoing. And in the verses yun yung nasabi dito and nasundan yun, no, which mentioned here in the verses 8 and 9 that there is no one like him on earth, no, that yung pagiging blameless niya, man who fears God, turns away from evil. And in the verse 9, the accuser spots an opening for mischiefs and replies that does Job fear God for nothing? Basically, si Satan yung tinutukoy dito. And in the verses 10 to 11, that have you not put a hedge around him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands and his possession have increased in the land. And may isang parang nagmarka sa akin or yung remarkable verse, which is the verse 11, that but stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face. Now, in other words, Satan accused Job that he was not fear God or love God or treasure God or admire God or find satisfaction to him, or from him. Yung theology kasi ni Satan dito, na on human perspective, on human level, that Job's devotion to trust and worship God was clearly explained, that who would not want to serve God if it meant being rewarded with good health and wealth or any possessions? Kumbaga, Satan accused Job na ginagamit niya lang si God as benefactor, that he loves his possession instead of God. Now, when the devil roams the earth like a roaring lion, seeking whoever he may destroy, this is one of the ways Satan tempts people to turn away from God. And ito rin yung nakita natin dito, na ginawa niya kay Job, no, and he and others who do his bidding frequently accuse, no, na followers or Christians today of serving God solely to receive rewards or to avoid punishment. Kumbaga, he's creating the impression that all followers of the Lord no are parang hypocrites and that serving God is not all that essential eh. Not remember in verses 11 na napaisip lang din ako that there's nothing wrong in principle with becoming wealthy naman eh. Lalo na if you use it to glorify God or mga kalugod-lugod na gawain sa mata ng ating Panginoon. However, God frequently warns us to be cautious about our attitude toward wealth, no? As what mentioned in First Timothy chapter 6, that in this illustration of what Satan did to Job, that instant that Satan questioned Job, does Job love God just because God has richly blessed him? To put in another way, is Job's faithfulness only a coin? No, is parang barya lang siya na in-insert sa vending machine para makakuha ng God's blessing. In this position, no, we might ask ourselves then this question that do we engage to God solely in order for Him to give us with the things we desire or more so that He doesn't ruin our supposed accomplishment on our own. In good times kasi we have faith in God. We recognize Him as the source of all good. But when the times na alisin natin yung mga possessions na yon, yung riches or wealth, do we worship God ba for nothing more than to have a hedge around us? Do we still do the same ba? Do we serve God because we love Him ba? And would worship and serve Him even if we lost everything? What is the purpose of our service to God? Na, nakakalungkot lang din kasi that may that humans may hindi ko nilalat but there's humans kasi that have a tendency to raise a principle of God's interactions with humans that it gives them the idea that they have some control over God. In this essence kasi they might think or make that God owed them yung mindset na God should serve them instead of always serving God. God owes me everything if I can oblige God to benefit me by doing good. No, many individuals feel God owes them everything because they are good people eh. Na gumawa sila ng mabuti so parang ang dating God owes me this kind of blessings kasi I make good, no, gumawa ako ng mabuti. But we, on the other hand, cannot tell God how to bless us kasi. We can enjoy God's good gifts, no, but they must not become our identity. Our identity kasi must be the will of true discipleship, the true followers. No, we must recognize that this is a genuine discipleship calling, no. Remember, when Jesus called his disciples, no, he taught them this. He did not provide shelter for his disciples. He did not provide them with comfort or wealth. Instead, just gave them a stone for a pillow. No, yung exhaustion sa bawat paglalakbay, just to mangaral, as well as persecution for uttering his name, for speaking his name. No, we should keep in our minds that with or without these good possessions, no, in our lives, God should be worshipped for who He is, Na- His nature, His compassion, His grace, no, His forgiveness, and everything else. So that's my initial insight po for the first part of this reading po.
Solid, solid. Thank you, Brother Aldwin, for those or that insight. I would agree and say amen to that. And it's also a reflection to us bilang mga Kristiyano na yun nga, nagsisilbi lang ba tayo sa Diyos dahil tayo ay blessed or tayo ay binibless niya dahil maganda ang nangyari sa ating buhay, Paano kaya kung hindi? It's the opposite. Kumbaga, nahihirapan tayo sa buhay natin. Are we able to still praise Him? That's also a question for us. Kaya ang ganda nung lesson na to, no, parang nakaka-reflect din ako actually. Paano kaya pag nasa kabilang sitwasyon ka na hindi ka talaga, alam mo yun, like, hindi mo masasabing blessed ka. Like for now, I would say I'm blessed because basically parang meron na yun parang makakailangan mo to be able to live here in this world ng maayos naman pag i-evaluate ko yung buhay ko. ayun, may nakakain naman ako 3 beses isang araw, may damit naman ako, ganyan, or may mga, may, I have my family, my friends, ayun. Pero yung tanong, paano kaya kung mawala yung mga yun lahat, ano, or na-decrease ng tragic, how would you respond? So parang ganun yun eh. Would you curse God? Or would you still praise Him? So yun yung challenge ni Satan kay God na sa verse 11, sabi nga ni Aldwin, striking. And it is indeed striking. Kasi sabi niya, ano, sige, tignan mo, pag mawala yung lahat ng pag-aari niya, He will surely curse you to your face. So yan nga, yung reflection sa atin. Saan ba nakabase ang pananampalataya natin? Naalala ko nga rin yung sinabi ni Brother JD, or yung sa discussions din natin, na ang reward kasi natin sa pagsilbi sa Diyos, or ang nakuha talaga natin is not the material blessings. Mga maliit na bagay lang yun, sa totoo lang. The great reward itself is God Himself. We have a relationship with God. So yun yung mismo yung reward, the most amazing reward. If we have a relationship with Him, that's more than enough. Diba? Alala ko yung statement na if God is all you have, God is all you need. Na-mention din yun sa isang interview lang recently. And kung mawala man lahat, but if you have God, that's more than enough for you to start all over. So I hope that we can live out those principles, kasi yun yung talagang basehan naman ng pananampalataya. And thank you, Brother Alvin, also for mentioning examples like in the Bible, ano, biblical examples ng mga Christians, disciples na naghirap. And indeed, marami, ano, in the New Testament. Di ba? The disciples were not living a luxurious life na okay lahat. They were actually persecuted for their faith. Some of them were killed. Or many of them were killed for their faith. They were being punished for their faith. But did it stop them from serving God? From spreading the good news? No. And I do hope na sana tayo, we have the same courage and, the same passion for service. Grabe. Thank you for those initial insights. Ayan, thank you po for joining us, brother Richard. Hello po. Thank you for the reacts. Ayan. Comment lang po kayo, mga kapatid. Just a reminder, if you have anything you'd like to comment on, sabi niyo lang po. Okay, balik ko ulit sa'yo, Brother Aldwin, for more insights. Go ahead, bro.
Yun bro, siguro second insights siguro to from verses 12 onwards. So supposed to be that dalawa talaga yung nakita ko dito. So for the second insights, no, start in the verse 12, that so God allows Satan to put Job to the test. No, in verses 13 to 19, that we see or we saw here or we observe here that Job is being tested. He was robbed of his oxen and donkeys. No, these were most likely utilized to accomplish work on Job's farm or ranch or whatever we may call it. No, kumbaga, uh, it is actually important for him lalo na to to provide for his family. No, and sumunod doon, Job lost the animals he needed to provide for his family. He also lost his sheep, lost his camels, and eventually, yung pinakamatindi na experience na dito, that Job eventually lost his family, as what state have had or seven boys and or 7 sons and 3 daughters kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Correct me if I'm wrong. No? Consider this na silang lahat, no, yung anak niya. At masakit of course sa part ni Job ito. Talagang naghihinag siya rito. In our situations naman, that financial difficulties, no, academic problems or unexpected death of loved one, sickness, job loss or unexplained tragedy, no, suffering has a profound impact on every one of us. No, when stress or worry threaten to overtake us, no, or our hearts hurt, we sometimes kasi we ask, no, when will it end? Hanggang kailan to? Or minsan papatanong tayo, why me? Or what causes bad things to happen to nice people? So many times we wonder kasi, no, we cry, seek answers for that kind of sufferings, hardship, difficulties, no, that we we want to understand kasi why we suffer. So no, nakita ko dito that the story of Job teaches us that bad things happen because Satan. No, while God permits such tests as He did in the instances of Job, no, happen. He is not the source of them, since He never tempts anyone to do evil. That God, He is not the source of that kind of suffering, as what stated in Book of James. No, even then, as with Job, He always limits Satan's ability. Now that no usual temptation has seized you, but God is faithful kasi, who will not cause you to be tempted beyond our ability or capability, but with the temptation will also offer a way of escape that you may able to bear it, as what stated in First Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. You know, as we live in a Christian life, no, hindi kasi natin garantiya na ang buhay ay puro ginhawa lang, that na puro joy lang, no, na puro comfort lang. This is what I told to one of the youth that time na kakabaptize lang niya na magpakatatag, no. We are always prone to hardships kasi in life, especially that we are living in Christian life, because I totally experience it. No, there are always suffering din. Para tayong ship kasi na nasa malawak na karagatan at may mga storm, no, or bagyong paparating, to test that ship or to test us. Remember that storms or tests or challenges can arise at any time kasi. Every day there are always storms that encounter. And as a Christian in our spiritual life, there are storms that are present, such as temptations, sins, deceives, and more. However, God is not attempting to harm us in this way kasi He is not attempting to conceal anything, because hindi nagkulang ang Diyos ng papaalala sa atin that life has an endless battle, especially as we walking in the same path of the path that Christ walked. No, uh, God is open and transparent about life storms. It is amid life's disasters that you find what you truly believe. What I learned from this, that storms have a way of exposing your true self. No, siguro ano bang magandang illustration about it? Uh, Yon, naalala ko na. Okay, sige. Siguro yung illustration, no, yung a previous episode dito sa Daily Hours, I think that's the month of December ata, or early week ng January, na parang may question about it, that how uh, was your faith in this time of pandemic? Yun yung question about it. And I remember ang host doon, si Kuya Jesse ang host that time, and ang co-host that time ako, and kung daw nagkakamali si Ate Casmer ata. So kung babalikan kasi natin yung episode na yun, my response to that question, I answered it with an honest answer that during the pandemic, I was down on my knees. I experienced events or situations na talagang hindi ko kinaya. At sunod-sunod din nangyari. Hindi kami, for example, instances, hindi kami okay ng father ko. The same year on both sides of my parents, o namatay yung both grandfathers ko sa both sides ng parents ko. Then after 2 days about it, that there was a time na parang nagkaroon ng recitation about sa school. After ng pagkamatay ng lolo ko that time hindi ko nasagot kasi yung recitation na yon, dahil nga wala akong motivation that moment mag-aral, because I was in the middle of grieving process. Nagalit yung prof namin dahil hindi ko nga nasagot yung question na yon. Then parang as punishment about it, pinagawa kami individually ng isang requirement na talagang mahirap gawin kapag individually, kasi ang dami talaga yun. Then I have a friend from other section, she told me that her classmates, no, biniblame nila ako for that, na grabe yung inis nila sa akin with matching curse words pa nga that talagang hindi mo gugustuhin. Hindi ko talaga gustong malaman that time, kasi nga I was emotionally breakdown, grieving process, tas ganun pa yung maririnig ko. And those sufferings na nagsabay-sabay sa akin, it leaded me to do the things na hindi kaaya-aya. Hindi ko na pwede i-share yun kasi sobrang sensitive na talaga. So yung pakiramdam ko kasi that time, para akong ini-squeeze ng dalawang pader yung sarili ko. And those trials kasi, parang pakiramdam ko na mag-isa ako, and leads me to the point na nanlamig ako sa faith ko. Parang nawawalan ako ng will to do the same thing. Dati-dati kasi kapag Sunday, excited talaga ako na, pero parang unti-unti yung napapansin ko that unti-unti nawawala yung excitement na yun. But God is always there. That He used some people to save those na naliligaw na ng path, no? He, yun, dahil nga nanlalamig ako, God is, I'm grateful pa rin that God used people para maibalik ako. He sent Ate Jerome. Actually, si Ate Jerome yung isang reason why I'm still doing this. I'm still walking in the same path pa rin. That, and also this daily hours to me na para maibalik ako sa tamang landas at umalab ulit yung fire na iyon. So what's my point here? Why I'm sharing this? No, hindi ko to sinishare just to mema lang. So I'm sharing this because suffering, challenges, difficulties, or hardships have the purpose why God allowed this. Dalawa lang naman yan eh. Either you grow from it or it might drive you to doubt God. Then if that's the choice na piliin natin, tinayagan lang natin si Satan na manaig sa atin. So this storm had turned into a real life school for the spiritual learnings, that He uses hard times to put our faith to the test. Are we choosing Job's response that instead of manlamig, he praised God for that? That he understood the principle that even when times are difficult, God is worthy of worship and to be glorified by His creation, no matter what. So whether we can worship God in our suffering, no, is often the true test of the genuineness of our faith. Or are we choosing those experiences ba na tulad ng share ko is mali yung pinuntahan ko before, which is to change a different path na malayo sa tamang landas. So it teaches us to trust completely in God's sovereign choice and find rest here. So whatever challenges, whatever suffering, whatever hardships na darating sa atin or pagdadaanan natin, that we should trust completely in God's sovereign and find a rest there, that may God grants us such patience, no, if He sends us such trials, and unto Him shall be the glory evermore. So yun po yung second insight ko po for this.
Power, bro. Ang ganda. Ang dami mong magandang insights na na-share, and one of those is yung sa verse nga, di ba? Yung God is not actually the one doing the bad things to us. It's actually Satan. I would say Satan, ourselves, ourselves, and circumstances, basically. Pero pag si God, hindi siya talaga yung kumbaga initiator ng mga masamang nangyayari sa atin. So why blame him? Why blame him? Bakit kaya ganun usually ang reaction or responses ng mga tao ngayon? Sa totoo lang, kapag may mga masamang nangyayari, talagang balik kay God agad. Pero thank you for sharing that, na dito sa situation na mismo na ito, ang initiator actually si Satan himself. At nakita natin si Job, wala naman siyang ginawang masama, and he was described as blameless, di ba? Blameless in this sight. He had this integrity, pero this came as a test. Yes, God allowed this to happen for a reason. At malalaman din natin yan in the long run after this, kasi hindi pa natapos yung storya. At napakaganda rin yung nabanggit mo regarding the storms. Storms have a way of exposing our true selves. Yes, indeed. Kung naghirap tayo, how do we respond to it? Lalabas yung natin, yung character natin sa mga paghirap. Naalala ko rin yung isang statement, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Yan, type nga natin para maalala ko rin. Okay, when the going gets tough, kumbaga parang pag humihirap na yung buhay, the tough gets going. The tough gets going. So kung tough ka rin, tuloy-tuloy ka lang. So yun yung isang sinasabi natin, di ba? Go lang, tuloy-tuloy lang, stay with Jesus. Sa faith natin, stay in the faith. Kasi there will come many challenges. Or Brother Alvin, hindi ko na sinasabi na, yes, thank you also for sharing those challenges that you have. Pero what if kaya meron pang dumating na naman in the future na mga challenges, how are you going to respond? In a way, ako rin, paano kaya kung kunwari I recently had no, mga challenges na it also affected me as a person, pero I'm glad, I'm happy na andito rin naman ako in the faith pa rin. And yun yung isang pinanghawakan ko na sabi ko talaga sa sarili ko na kung may mga challenges man, I don't want to give up on the faith. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ako kasi wala namang ginawang masama sa akin si God, honestly. Siya nga yung laging tumutulong. Siya yung alam mo yun, siya yung nag-allow sa'yo to really keep on going. So, talagang let's hold on to God. Ang dami na napapareflect ako sa lesson. And I hope na tayo din will continue to reflect. And again, appreciate your sharing, Brother Aldwin. Tuloy-tuloy lang, bro. Stay strong, stay faithful sa pananampalataya natin. And as we can see here sa reading, grabe, solid ng response talaga ni Job, no? Parang, kung ako yung nasa sitwasyon niya, parang hindi ko kaya, di ba? Mali pa nga yung sinabi ko, kala ko 3 beses lang, tapos check ko dito, 4 pala. Bilahan lang natin na yung mga bad news. Diba? Habang kumakain sila, one day, first messenger, bad news, ito. Diba? Namatay yung mga oxen niya, and servants. Second, sheep and servants. Third, yung camels and servants din. And ito yung pinakamasaklap, sabi nga rin ni Brother Aldwin. Kasi yung sons and daughters niya mismo, di ba? His own flesh and blood. Okay, tapos biglang nangyayari ito. So, 4 na bad news in one day, hindi separate days yan. Isang pasada yan, di ba? When it rains, it pours, solid na solid. So, sabi ko, paano kung nangyari ito sa akin? Parang, ano kayong sasabihin ko? Tapos, grabe yung response ni Job. Solid. Basahin lang ulit natin. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will leave this life. The Lord gives, and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. No, talagang he still worship God. Amazing. At hindi niya sinisi ang Diyos sa kahit anuman ang nangyari at hindi siya nagkasala. Kasi sabi ko nga, honestly, ang reaction talaga natin talagang iba eh. Usually magtatampo talaga tayo, parang magagalit tayo, di ba? Mapapa-curse tayo, we curse anyone or something. So talagang, wow, the storms really has a way of exposing our true selves. And sana, ang ma-expose sa atin bilang mga Kristiyano ay yung maganda sana na lalabas yung pagka-Kristiyano pa natin lalo kapag nahihirapan tayo sa buhay natin. Anong masasabi niyo mga ka-awesome? Anong masasabi niyo mga ka-awesome? Yeah. Thank you for reiterating this. Yes, di ba? When the going gets tough, kapag umirap yung journey, pag go natin, nahirap, the tough, kung sino man na yung matatag, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. So sana tayo yung tough din. Mas maging tough tayo mga kapatid. Ayan, meron pa ba mga ka-awesome, mga kapatid? Meron ka pa bang mga insights, Brother Aldwin? May gusto ka pang idagdag?
So far, bro, wala na po. So,
Yes.
minerge ko na po lahat sa isang It's actually indeed a solid learnings for this tonight's discussion po. Talagang mapapareflect po talaga.
Actually, solid na yung yung sharing and yung insight. Busog na ako kasi napapaisip din talaga ako na alam mo yun, sana hindi lang natin sinasabi dito itong mga bagay na to, pero when that time comes na ang hirap na we are tested in our faith, nandito pa rin tayo, di ba mga kapatid? Ayan. So with that mga ka-awesome, let us now proceed to our responses. Inubo ako bigla. Alright. Okay, so andito na tayo sa ating responses mga kapatid. So you can share to us kung ano yung striking sa inyo sa episode natin for tonight. Anything else that you'd like to share. And final thoughts basically for tonight's episode. Masasabi ko lang, bago ko ipasa ulit kay Aldwin, solid na reminders for everyone and even for myself. Itong lesson natin. Sabi ko nga, actually narinig ko na yung mga ibang parts dito pero parang fresh na naman kasi yun nga. Alam mo yun. Life is tough pero we have to be tougher. because of God. Yeah. So, Brother Aldwin, can you share to us your responses for tonight's episode?
So yun bro, for my responses, trials and sufferings are all laid out for us, but as believers of Christ, we can endure it and overcome it. So suffering humble us and realize that we are not in control. That God is in control. Whatever occurs, God is always there. He is still in control and He is constantly concerned about us, as what stated in the First Peter chapter 5. He may not always remove the difficulties that we face, no, that but we should be confident that through Him will help you to respond to any challenges in a Christian manner. So so yun nga yung learnings, yung food, yung insights, yung readings natin tonight, that those principles must be learned, must be remembered, and must be lived. So yun po, yun yung response ko po for tonight's readings po.
Yes, everything that we talked about, what the Bible tells us, the lessons, the principles today must be learned, must be lived. Ano pa isa? Sino mong sinabi? Pero learn,
Must be remembered, must be
must
lived.
be remembered. Yes.
Ano yung isa? I forgot.
Ayun, must be learned, must be
ayun.
remembered, and must be lived. Totoo.
Yun.
No? Maganda yung part na remembered kasi talagang nakakalimot tayo, di ba? We often forget even these things na sabi natin, alam na natin, pero talagang pinapaalalahanan ulit tayo ng lessons na ito to keep on going, staying in the faith, mga kapatid, mga ka-awesome. Okay, may comments pa po ba kayo? Wala na po ba? Kasi kung wala na, we can end here. Pero I do hope that we have learned much, or we have been reminded and encouraged again sa ating lesson for tonight's episode. For my case, i-reiterate ko lang talaga, no? Kaya nilagay ko rin dito sa comment section yung mga striking din. Talagang yun, kapag andyan yung mga bagyo, no, how are we going to respond? So, iisip mo na, ano yung totoong Jesse, diba? Lalabas, yung totoong kulay. And I do hope na maganda yung kulay na lumabas. And ito, sana tayo, yung mga tough din, na we keep on going in the faith, staying in the faith. Staying with Jesus all the way, every day. Yeah. Okay, a comment from latest post. Ate Mayan, ikaw ba yan? Okay. Like Job, suffering tests our faith. Suffering can strengthen our faith, or suffering can shatter our faith. So pili po tayo. We will have to make the choice. Suffering will either drive us into God's arms, or suffering will cause us to walk away from God. Let's make the right choice. So ito yung two main choices often talaga. At sana yung tama talaga, like doon sa first one, I do hope it would strengthen our faith more, and it would drive us into God's arms, itong mga suffering na ito. Let's choose those choices. Thank you po. Latest post. And si JR, sabi niya naman, trials may come, yet He holds our life. Yes, God is in control, at magtiwala po tayo doon. Let's continue to trust in the Lord. All our hearts, soul, mind, and strength. Thank you so much, JR. And okay, I think wala na, pero pag meron pa, pahabol nyo lang dyan at babasahin natin, at mababasa pa naman po yung mga comments na yan ng mga bibisita or kung sino man ang makakita ng episode na ito. But for now, mga ka-awesome, I believe we can end for now sa episode na yan. Ayun, meron ding comments si Kuya Jerry. Sabi niya po, suffering is temporary, God's glory is forever. Yes, di ba? Totoo po yan. And this forever glory, God's glory is amazing. Kaya talagang kung may suffering man, let's be tough. Tatagan po natin. Manatil tayo sa Kanya. Thank you for this, Kuya Jerry. Okay, so as I was saying, mga kapatid, no, kung wala na, yan po ang ating episode for tonight. We do hope to see you again tomorrow for the continuation of our story on the book of Job. And with that, niling ko na, sana tayo ay maging healthy lagi, hindi lang sa physical, pero pati sa pang-spiritual. Stay awesome, okay? Stay awesome. Let's be awesome kahit na hindi awesome yung mga nangyayari minsan sa buhay natin, may mga challenges, let's stay awesome and stay with Jesus, stay with Him. Thank you so much, Brother Aldwin, for joining me for tonight's episode. Thank you sa inyong lahat, mga ka-awesome, sa pagsama sa amin sa episode na ito ulit. God bless you all richly. And of course, fellow Christians, fellow believers, let the light shine wherever you are and let the love of Jesus be seen wherever you go. God bless you all po. Thank you everyone. Hope to see you again tomorrow. See you po.